The Supreme Court has ruled unambiguously that deliberate provocation is protected speech, and if it is the duty of the government to be aware of the deliberate provocation, the likely danger as a result of the provocation, and to protect the speaker. The First Amendment anticipates some violence. That's why we have a government, to protect us from the violence that would try and silence us.
All right, we're joined now, folks, by Brandon Darby, Managing Director of Breitbart Texas. And Brandon, welcome aboard. And I know that you were in Garland at the event on Sunday. We've spoken to several people yesterday who were there, including the organizer, Robert Spencer. Talk about what you saw when you became. It was the end of the event, really, when this all happened, right?
Well, it's actually an interesting situation because it didn't exactly happen at the end of the event. It happened when the event was supposed to end, but the event went longer because they actually started late. So the terrorists showed up right at the time that people were supposed to be coming out of the event, and people were not coming out of the event en masse because the event went over the time it was supposed to. And they were, of course, doing interviews and what have you after, and so forth, as the event concluded. But that's what occurred. The formal speaking and so forth had ended inside, but the activities were not over. So, three of my team members were inside the event. I stayed outside of the event to cover the outside and to cover demonstrations, and there were no demonstrations. No one showed up at all to protest at that event, even though they had done so to protest months prior when another event was held there.
Do you think, Brandon, not to interrupt, that means other people knew what was coming?
I can't say that that's what it means, but it was very. I'll leave it at. It was very surprising that people did not show up to protest the event. Several months prior, there was an event put on by CARE at that same facility. People showed up to protest it, and the Muslim community, along with the Occupy community, showed up to protest the protesters, very active protests, and no one showed up. So I think that in itself was concerning to me. So with my history as a former protester, and as you know, in my history with the FBI dealing with these people, I thought it was very strange, and so I assumed that what they were going to do was they were probably meeting somewhere off-site and planning to storm the place at the end of the event. So I thankfully got in my car and drove around looking for them, and that is when the attack actually occurred. I got a phone call, and they said, "Are you still out front? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm not out front anymore. I'm around the facility on the other side." And they said, "There's gunshots fired." And I'm like, "I didn't hear gunshots. What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Gunshots fired. There's shots fired." And so that's when immediately everything changed.
Right.
And we realized some of what had occurred.
Have you given? Has the authorities, the investigators, are they aware of this? I mean, have you talked to anybody and said, "Boy, something really smells here. Something that didn't seem right," and in the aftermath, looking back, still doesn't seem right. There possibly could have been people who knew about this, and that's why they stayed away.
Well, and I think that's definitely something that the FBI is handling it, looks at, and I'm sure deals with. Just because of my history and my life, obviously I have friends who are on the Joint Terrorism Task Force,
right,
who are part of that. And of course, I've shared my perspectives about that with them.
Good. Okay, good.
Of course, but again, it doesn't necessarily mean that. I mean, because
no,
hand,
I know, but it does seem very strange. You're right, very strange.
It seemed very strange, and almost immediately after the shots, almost every intersection in eyesight had law enforcement carrying M4s, stop stopping the traffic. I mean, they handled that so quickly.
That is a
that
model.
It was,
it is a model for the rest of the country to look at how that Garland police force handled everything. Brandon, great to talk to you, sir. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, folks, up next, pollster John Zogby. But first, we've brought back our viewer call-in segment here on the Steve Malzberg Show. So if you want to be a part of it, we need you to reach out to us first. We have to set this up with you first. Email us and tell us how to reach you, phone number, and we'll get in contact with you and try to get you on the show. Email us at the following email address: callsteve@newsmax.com. Callsteve@newsmax.com. Let us know how to reach you during the day, and we'll try to set this up so we can converse, as they say in Brooklyn. Don't go away.